So the first argument that I have is that it's becoming more difficult. And one way to talk about that in this is that you could argue most of the problems we encounter are no longer complicated, they're complex. And I use these words very specifically. So when I say complicated, I'm using the analogy of a machine. A machine that is understandable, that has a lot of different components and elements to it. But at the end of the day, one can understand a machine if you have sufficient knowledge or sufficient experts around you. It's relatively easy to understand a machine. While none of us can probably repair our Xerox or copier machine in the office, if we get some experts to us, we'll be able to figure it out. And in a machine, if you push here, it's pretty clear what will happen over there. If you remove a part over here, it's quite clear that this thing might not work anymore. And this is the analogy that historically we've used for our companies, our organizations, ever since the Industrial Revolution. We kind of use implicitly the machine analogy for our companies. We talk about inputs, outputs, efficiency, effectiveness, human resources, all these things that have to do with machines. None of these words have to do with the rainforest on the right, which I'd argue is a more complex system. If you remove a flower from the rainforest, there might be a species over there that dies. There's all these weird feedback loops that are hard to understand. Most of the time, you can't quite understand fully what happens here if you change something over here, even if you have a ton of experts with you. So this system and the system of a rainforest is much more difficult to understand, if you will. You might be able to understand some stuff that happens in hindsight, like why did a certain song became a global top hit